A decision that was reached on Friday by a collective of civil society organizations who are working for him, as transmitted by the National Assembly on Gated, and has fixed February 18th as the day for the presidential elections. To also join us. As civil society, we have decided to hold the protest here, and address the press on the actions that we are taking and its implication. You recall that last week we had asked and recommended that the president assent to the bill by February 22nd. Today is February 22nd. We're still hopeful that he will assent to the bill because of the implication that it has for the dates of the election. So we're still going to be calling on the president and we'll be exerting citizens' pressure. We're glad, as you can see, citizens have come out, which shows how important the electoral bill is for Nigerians. And as the president of the Nigerian people, he should listen to Nigerians and assent to the bill. But we must also make it clear that this particular effort is just informed by the provisions of Clause 28 of the electoral bill that provides or requires INEC to do what? To issue notice of election 360 days. And we stated in our statement last week that if the president fails to assent to the bill after or before 22nd, then INEC will have no option but to shift election dates. And it is too early in the day to start shifting election dates. Address all the legal uncertainties that would accrue or result out as a result of shifts in dates. I think this confusion is needless. And if the president has any issue with any particular clause, we've urged him to send an amendment to the National Assembly to amend that particular clause. But any further delay would really not bode well for the integrity of the electoral process.
Okay, so we've seen a statement from the presidency saying people and groups are calling for or advocating for the president to sign this electoral bill, are playing politics with the bill. According to Femi Adesina, he called it saber rattling. How do you react to that?
I think as civil society and as Nigerians, we will not join issues with the spokesman of the president. We are performing our constitutional duty to ask the president to assent to the bill. Civil society groups have paid close attention to this bill. We've engaged from an issue-based manner. Our statements are very clear. Last week when we issued a statement, we noted the provisions of Section 58 of the Constitution that provides 30 days, a timeline for the president to consider whether to assent or withhold assent to a particular bill. We stated, but the reason why this action is conducted on this day is because of the expediency that is required on the part of the president to assent to the bill by 22nd of February. It has implications for the date of elections, and we didn't want a situation where there will be uncertainty as to the dates of the elections. If the president does not assent to the bill today, we would have to move the date of the election. And that's the point that civil society and citizens have made. It's sad that the president's spokesman spoke in that manner, but we will not join issues with him. We have stated the provisions of the Constitution and the positions of the law, and we continue to urge the president to assent to the bill today. And if he does that today, INEC will have to issue notice of elections. There will be no need to shift the date. So this confusion is actually needless. On the issue around playing politics, we are performing our constitutional duty, and we have engaged this process from the beginning, and we will follow this to its logical conclusion to see that what is in the best interest of Nigerians is done.
Is it true that you have been pressured by the DSS to drop this protest?
No, we never had any discussion with the DSS. The DSS never pressured us. We had discussions with the police. As you can see, we invited the police. The police is here to provide protection, as well as the Federal Road Safety Corps, and they've been very professional and very cordial. We've not had any cause to worry since we started the discussions, and the decision on the protest was reached on Friday.
Would you suggest the National Assembly?
Well, we're not there yet. When we get to that point, we will know the call that we'll make on the National Assembly. For now, we hope that the bill does not go back to the National Assembly, that if it's going back to the National Assembly, it should be an assented bill that will be gazetted and made available to Nigerians. The president has assured Nigerians, and the spokesperson has spoken, that the president will assent in a number of hours, and we don't know whether it's 24 or 48 hours. We still want to give the president the benefit of doubt that he would assent to the bill in a matter of hours, like his spokesman has said. And if he does that, it will be in the interest of our democracy. So we're not there yet. When we get there, as civil society, we will review the situation and we will determine what call we will make on the president, or the National Assembly rather.
Thank you so much, sir. President Muhammad Buhari yet to assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. What's the call?
Well, this is very disappointing for the president that has been shouting and claiming of a victim of being electoral fraud in Nigeria.
Can we assemble here? Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We're starting.
7 years
We're
after.
going to start in 2 minutes. So please, let's converge. Let's go ahead.
7 years after, he's not able to do any positive thing towards addressing electoral fraud in Nigeria. And the implication of this is that he appears to enjoy what he has been complaining before. Otherwise, we cannot understand 7 years as elected president, you have not been able to initiate anything that will address electoral fraud in Nigeria. So it's very disheartening, and given the timeline that we have now to ensure that we have free, fair, credible, and transparent election, there's no option then for the president to assent to what Nigerians have canvassed, what Nigerians have demanded, what Nigerians are actually willing to see to improve electoral transparency in Nigeria. Failure to do this within this time framework will draw us back to the era of analog, to the era of perpetual rigging, to the era of electoral violence, to the era of electoral manipulation and destruction of public trust on the electoral process. That's what the implication for the President Buhari is doing.
Okay, the impression we are getting from the president is that the president will sign this bill, and it appears as if civil society groups and other groups are just playing politics with it.
We are not politicians. We don't do politics. Civil society, the one that I belong to and the one that my colleagues here are, they are not politicians. We are not politicians. We don't do politics. We only advocate for the public interest. And knowing the implication of not signing this act, we have the duty as conscious of the society to draw the attention of the lawmakers, to draw the attention of the executive, to draw the attention of every stakeholders to ensure that we have signed this electoral act that will help us improve in our electoral process in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Democratic accountability in Nigeria. The organizations are too numerous to mention, so I won't mention them one after the other. But just note that this event, also join us. Make sure you're holding one placard. We have a lot for you. Okay. You want big. Okay. Okay. Faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve her unity and uphold her honor and glory, so help me God. Before we continue with the proceedings, we see our friends from the media. So we'll take the pledge, and we'll wait for you to set up, and we take a cue from you. But let me, on behalf of the organizers of